adding this extra reverb affecting anything that you mixing back there?
I am actually not doing anything to that keyboard. Yeah, you can do it. Hey, what's up? Welcome to Tech in the Temple. Thanks for jumping in. I just wanted to say hi and give you a little update of where we are at. I did program yesterday, recorded a little bit of that, but as I had said before, I'm trying to make some of these videos not so cookie cutter or same thing every single week. My goal is to try to make these videos a little bit shorter, just to kind of update. And when new things come into play, videos like this will jump in. So some of the new additions here that I had added in the last few days. Some things that I had learned from what they're doing at Bayside, some things I wanted to do myself, just was waiting for the right time, waiting for some money, the whole bit, you know how that is. So yeah, one of the big changes and updates is this new little guy here. It is a Galaxy Audio hotspot. And the cool thing that I like about this really is that there's a little Galaxy Audio icon right there, and that guy lights up when it's used. So if I were to turn my talkback mic on and start using it, hey, check. That is a cool thing that I wanted to implement here, and I like the fact that that little red light lights up when it's being used to kind of catch our attention in case we have the volume down, because here, as you'll notice, the booth is in the house here with me, and I can't obviously have it very loud. It'll catch everybody's attention and everybody will hear all of the back end talk back. You don't want that. So I have it just low enough to where I can kind of hear enough. I lean forward, and during worship or something big, I can't always tell if it's being used or hear it. And so now when I see that little flashing red light, I can lean forward and listen in. And another cool thing that I had added that I wanted to show you while we're here at the booth is, I don't know if you noticed before, I've always had one little speaker here at my position sitting right here on the left-hand side. So I finally pulled the trigger and was able to get some stereo speakers so that I had a better true image of what's going on broadcast. And when I'm programming, I usually have the house muted or completely out, at least the fader down. And this is my desk essentially midweek. And so I get to listen to music, program, mix whatever I need to do here on the stems, and I can actually hear a true representation of what it's going to sound like on broadcast, as well as the house. And the feed from the board that's coming to these two speakers is delayed with the house, so that I don't have any phasing issues or time delay issues, really. So the only difference is the house is its own house mix, and these two speakers here is the broadcast mix, which gives me a better representation of what the broadcast sounds like and what the broadcast is hearing. And if there is an anomaly online, at least I will hear it and I can make an adjustment, make a change. So that was a cool thing. And as you notice here, I had moved this center monitor. It was right there where the hotspot is on top of that speaker, and I ended up having to move it right here in my peripheral, which I do like a little better, because when I'm sitting in my position, all I have to do is look straight ahead and I can see what's going on the side screens, what's going on the LED wall, what's going on broadcast, and all outputs as well. What the multi-viewer is showing, what my switcher is seeing on the multi-viewer. This is the notes that for the operator, this is program, and this is conference monitor, I believe. Another big thing that I had added was that I noticed was what they were doing at Bayside. So I ended up talking with Tyler, getting a little bit of insight as to how he was doing it. This was something that I've wanted to do for a while. And before I walk back to show you, I don't think I made a video on this, but a while ago I had made our Nord 100% wireless. So power and audio is all coming from this guy right here. I have a little Anchor battery attached to the stand that the Nord is on, and then I have two wireless packs, mic packs essentially, one on this side and the other one over here on this side. So that is how I get audio wirelessly to my rig. The only problem that I don't really like so far is that when we want to move it, we have to lift this thing, put it up on the stand here, and then this entire rig essentially is fully mobile, and Aaron can walk around playing it if he wants. So a similar system that I did to that is what I ended up doing to our Prometheum board here. So prior to going to Bayside and talking with Tyler, getting a little bit of insight and ideas from him, I had this Prometheum board right here hardwired. So I had a SDI line and power line tail coming off this rig, and it was back here to this rig plugged in, getting its video feed and power feed, of course. What I've always wanted to do, actually, before I go too get ahead of myself, is I wanted to make this thing wireless just like I did with that keyboard system. That way this wasn't, before when it was on the tail, it had the tail, it was limited where it can go on stage. Now it can go anywhere in the house. Actually, it can go really anywhere on the campus. So that's a benefit. So how we're doing this is I got the same thing. I've got this little Anker Solix C300 mounted to the back of this guy. And this is what powers the Promethean board and powers my wireless receiver. The transmitter, of course, is right here on this rack, being fed from the same feed. And I just have it on top of the rack up there. So it just has very minimal run to the TV that's going to be essentially right here where these little 4 boxes are on the stage. So that is great. Really, the only caveat or downfall about this thing being wireless and on such a small battery is that it lasts only about an hour and 15 minutes, maybe an hour and a half pushing it. The benefit really is that our sermons are only about 30 to 40 minutes. So as long as this thing gets plugged in, turned on and plugged in throughout the day in the morning and is fully topped off, I'll turn everything on as it is now and running, and then you just plug it in so that it can top off power. And as soon as it's needed, all we have to do is unplug this charging cable, and it should be sitting at 100% at that point, and then we just wheel it off, right? And then when we're done after the sermon, it comes back up. Somebody will grab this, plug it back in to top it off for the next service, and we're good to go. We are ready for second service. Cool, so that was just another little thing that I wanted to show you and kind of update you of how we're doing this. Another thing I'm going to be doing, as you notice, I keep walking into a dark area right here. This is monitor world. This is where we've got our transmitters for our IEMs. Our iPads they control the IEM mix, which controls the D-Live for each aux for the 6 vocalists. So they'll just come here, charge up their IEMs, grab their IEM and mic, grab their iPad, go up on stage, and they're good to go. Now this corner, of course, even though I have this white light right here behind me, apparently doesn't light up the room enough, especially because I have the shop light on. So especially because this light is typically off. It is kind of dark in here. Probably doesn't look so much on camera. It looks great on camera, I think, and it actually is enough in my opinion. However, I've heard a little bit of sighs and complaints about it not being bright enough. So what I'm gonna do is, that is the blue light. I got another one that I will be hanging just the side of that. If you can see that little tie bar up there, I'm gonna hang it to the end of that and point it straight down, and it is much brighter, and it's more of a wash light versus a par light like the one that's above me here. So this thing it's got a little small spot, as you can see here on the floor. The other one is the same light that I use for my audience blue in the house, so it should have much better coverage. It's also going to be brighter and have a blue color as well. So it should, in theory, light this room a little bit more, and we won't have to have our shop light on here, which they end up turning on all the time. And of course, as you can see straight into the auditorium. So when that light's on, that lights up all of this stuff right here behind this camera. Not good. Another thing that I added this week is a new drum cam. So I was using my little GoPro 7 here. This is my personal guy, and I wasn't using it anymore since I've got this new camera. And so it was just kind of sitting in my closet collecting dust, and I decided to set it up since we needed a drum cam. But I ended up finding this guy in the shop. We actually have 2 of these little Marshall, cheesy little Marshall personal, I don't even know what you would call this. It's just a small little SDI camera. It's great for what it is, however, it's not as good of quality as the Hero 7, but I'm going to test it out this week anyways. I had set it up, and as I said, I did record a little bit of what I was doing yesterday, but I just had some issues with, first of all, I just got this mic and didn't realize that it had a suppressor built in, or a noise suppressor automatically on it on the settings. I thought you would have to turn that on, but DJI decides to have it by default. I didn't know that, and of course I recorded all day yesterday programming with it, and I went to go edit it yesterday or last night and noticed my audio was practically useless. And if you want to get an idea of what I was talking about, this is the same audio that I used for the voiceover for last week for the Bayside debrief or recap video. Not a big fan of the output of that, so hopefully this comes out a little bit better. I did turn the settings off, so I'm very hopeful that this is actually going to turn out better. So another thing I was doing today is I'm taking a vacation the next 2 weeks. So the 11th this week is this Sunday. The 11th is the my last day before vacation. So I'm trying to set up and prep as much as we possibly can for the next 2 weeks after that, because somebody else is going to be covering me, and I'm just want to set them up for success and be able to do this without a hitch, right? So because of that, I had to build today. What I ended up doing was I built the sermon slides for this week. I built the sermon slides for next week. And then I'm waiting for Pastor Ken for him to send me his manuscript and sermon slide request, as well as the first. So Pastor Larry's going to give me his sermon for June 1st. But that being said, I'll do what I can. So another cool thing that I wanted to show you actually that we implemented, this is something that I wanted to do for this next series. And of course, I noticed when we went to Bayside that they were kind of doing a similar thing. They're just piping from different sources, piping the images from different sources. So what we are doing now is, as you saw that sermon TV that I just showed you, that is going to be the primary source coming out on stage every week now, used to show the slide, right? To show this main slide output. I'm no longer going to be using lower thirds on broadcast. So instead of lower thirds, I'll be using this DSK2, which is showing a super source of the actual slide. Right now, it's just showing our loops, but the super source will show the slide, the sermon slide, as well as a portion of camera 2. Now, because of that, the LED wall will always show moving forward the title slide, which is this guy right here. So the title slide will be on the LED wall during the entire sermon. And then the content will be on the main slide. The main sermon slide will be on the teaching TV that's up on stage out there that they can annotate on. And the side screens doesn't change. It's going to be the same black background with white text, kind of contrasted of the scripture or whatever. So we have two different output looks. There's one that is that main slide with the green background that I had shown you. The other one is the sermon slide, the side screens, and that's the same content, just a different look, right? A little easier to read for those who can't necessarily see the TVs very well. Now the only difference, of course, is the annotations only on the TV, the Promethean board, and not on the side screens. And it's also not on broadcast, but that's how people see the slide on broadcast as a super source. And then camera 2, our main broadcast camera, will also show the TV, the Promethean board in frame and what they're drawing around, so that that camera can like zoom in or whatever. Kind of keep that in frame to show those online, the slides, right? Ignore the room for now. We are setting up for a special event that's happening tomorrow for the school district, the local school district here. Oh, another thing that I did change or add here is moving forward. What I used to do is I was making snippets for each song, calling it song 1, song 2, song 3, 4, 5. And then calling the effects engine. I had a preset for each song for the effects, and that it would call that preset, and then at the corresponding time it needed, it would then open up the gate to allow the audio to pass through the engine. I'm still going to be continuing to do that. However, I'm just going to use one cookie cutter kind of effect moving forward, and I'm actually calling keys for the snippets. So snippets are now changing just the key itself within the tuner. So now it makes it a lot easier moving forward. So when I'm programming, all I have to do is go in here to Ableton, and now I'm calling the snippet of key G. And then as it advances and we need the effects in, when the playhead crosses this, it'll open up and, it will send the signal to open up that gate and allow the audio to pass through. So that was another cool thing that I had added. I'm really excited about that. Anyways, getting ready for rehearsal right now. People are going to be showing up here momentarily, so I need to get prepped and ready for that. So stand by. I'll show you maybe a little bit of that, see what we can do without copyright strikes. Thank you guys for watching this video.
So we want to kind of like move it from, we want to move from here to like here. I don't know if I sound great. Okay, gotcha. So we went, so when we get here, it's almost like, I'm trying to think of a song that does that. We just want to get here, so that when you get to your chorus, it's just an easy thing. But the verse probably feels like it sits in a weird place because you haven't really moved it to your face. can you add that? On that very last one, yeah, add that D so we can walk down. So instead of just the E minor, yeah, exactly. So put a D there.
All right, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. If you got any questions, as always, leave them in the comments below. Let's build a community together. We need each other, right? Until next time, keep it real, keep programming, and always keep serving. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.